Estamos em mais uma etapa do Brazilian Connection, aqui no Hotel Sheraton, Leblon, Rio de Janeiro, acompanhando o Festival da Diaspora. E temos ao nosso lado Chris Upperman, que é um gerente da área de governança da Meta, tem um trabalho todo voltado para a questão de promoção, de oportunidades para pessoas de grupos desfavorecidos na sociedade, do ponto de vista empresarial. Também trabalhou, foi membro da equipe do Barack Obama. So, it's a pleasure to have you here.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you personally.
Absolutely.
What do you think about? Do you think about this festival? What's your goal by being here?
Yeah, thank you. I'm really excited to be here. I'm glad to be interviewed by you right now. I feel really good about being here and Meta in particular supporting the Festival of Diaspora. We're a big supporter of Cordero. He has had the vision to bring the diaspora together across the Latin Americas to really think about belonging. You know, there's a lot of history from, countries such as Brazil. Last year we were in Cartagena in Colombia. And prior to that in Puerto Rico. And there's a binding kind of history there where the African diaspora kind of spans across all of these places. And so as a, African-American leader from the United States inside Meta, I thought it would be great for us to partner with Cordell and his team to come and discuss about technology policy, to talk about the idea of responsible governance on the platforms of Meta, and to really show up and showcase that we really take these issues serious. Furthermore, as a man of color, beautiful landscape, places like Brazil and these places, I just think it's important for us to be present and to engage in the dialogue.
And you know that Brazil has one of the largest black populations outside Africa. Brazil was the main destination for enslaved Africans brought to the Americas.
Yes.
Around 10 million people were brought here to Brazil. And so we have a strong presence here in spite of being, of course,
absolutely
prejudiced and, all the problems here. So what are your expectations about this festival? What do you think it could be accomplished with it?
Well, what you just said, that's history. That's, that might be common knowledge for you and many people who reside here, but the purpose of this festival is to bring people into these locations to learn about the history, this rich, deep history, in many ways dark at one point in time, but the hope for where we're going and where we're moving. The idea that you see a collective of Black and brown, Latinos and Latinas all coming together who are doing amazing work cross-sector, tackling big issues in private industry and government at the municipal level. It's an impressive feat to bring people here to know that history of how many enslaved were brought to Brazil, yet see us in the Americas now at the pinnacle of roles and opportunities and kind of sectors in the industries. What we really hope that we get out of this is just to continue the dialogue. I can't put that more plainly. It's really important for people to understand the nuances of the way in which the products are developed inside our company and the way in which policies are developed inside our companies. The idea that we take issues such as content moderation very serious. The idea that our organization established the first of its kind oversight board, a self-regulatory mechanism where we figured we'd take experts, subject matter experts, these legal scholars, these academicians, to have binding authority on us as it relates to content moderation. And so that it would not just be us in America and in Silicon Valley making these content moderation policies for the globe and for places like here in Brazil. And I know that you all had interviewed earlier Ronaldo Lemos, one of our oversight boards, who's from Brazil, and also one of the foremost leaders and thinkers on internet policy for Brazil. And that's what I hope to get out of this, that people would understand the way we think about these issues and that we care really deeply about these issues.
How do you explain the interest of these big companies like Google, like Meta, in terms of diversity, promoting diversity? What do they win with that?
It's a really great question, and I'll just answer simply. Our CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, has talked about our platforms connect people. Simply put, we connect people. We are a platform that spans somewhere north of 3.5 plus billion users around the world. And the idea of that is people who can just interact with each other. They can interact with each other through traditional media, post, video reels, WhatsApp, which I know is big here in Brazil in particular. And so the interest is that the idea that there are people who want to communicate with each other, people who want to share their stories, people who want to share their creative content on the platform, and people who want to communicate with loved ones. And so the interest lies in the very presence of the people who reside in these locations, in these places. So when we come here, I think it's also important for us to understand the humanity of the people that live here and what issues people are dealing with here, because those in part are going to play out on our platforms. And the more we better understand those issues, the better we can think about policies that will impact users on our platform.
I've been a couple of times to organizations like International Monetary Fund and Inter-American Development Bank. And for those organizations who are basically at the center of capitalism, an issue of race, like the issue of race here in Brazil, whatever, it's negative for the whole society, not only for Black people. So these countries, Brazil could be much more developed if Black people are given the chances that we deserve. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, look, I'll just speak from our organization, the governance organization. Here in this festival, we have 3 of our employees who are people of color. As I mentioned before, I'm a Black American. We have another woman who is a Colombiana, but she is a U.S. citizen now. We have another Black American woman who's also a program manager who's here at this festival. And this is just
race and gender.
Race, right? Both. I mean, there are 2 women that are here along with me to engage with attendees of this festival. And so, when I think about the way our company looks at diversity, we focus on belonging. This idea of we want to show up and be the best meta mate that we can be. How do we show up? How do we do good work? How do we invite perspectives? How do we invite all perspectives to add towards the goals and the outcomes that we have decided as a company? And I think that's the way that we really want to focus on it. I don't want to speak particularly for the human resources and the employee resource groups, professionals that kind of dictate those policies internally. But I'll just say that what I know as an employee, that there is space for me to give my perspective, to share the expertise and the skill set that I have so that I can execute on the work that I do.
What would be your message for young Black people, especially people of other minorities, which have this desire to grow up in the area of technology?
Ooh, that's a big question. I really, really enjoy that question because it's multifaceted. It could go in a lot of different ways. I'd say one of the fundamental things we have to focus on is ensuring that young Black people understand the technology. This technology is moving so rapidly. There's innovation. We're in the era of artificial intelligence or AI.
Right.
We're in the era of generative AI or Gen AI.
It's changing all the time.
These are technologies that are fast moving, that are building. Our company and others are investing a lot behind this. How do we optimize our products? How can it reach more people? We've recently partnered with Ray-Ban. We have Ray-Ban glasses now, smart glasses, and there's any number of things that are going to be developed as a result of that going forward. And so what I would tell young Black people, particularly in Brazil and around the world, is to understand the technology and understand the direction the technology is moving in. I then would also say is, how can we contribute to it? What basically is the imprint that we want to leave on that technology? When we think about, let's say, Brazil, for instance, you all have Carnival, you have Samba, you have rich cultural history here. And that's
the religions also.
The religion, of course. But you have rich cultural history that you've left for the world. The world knows that about you all. And if you can draw that kind of relationship there, what I mean is now for young people, you need to think about what impact do you want to have on technology and innovation and products as they continue to grow and get older. And that's what I would tell you to tell young people to really think about. We have seen the explosion of online content creators in the era of social media and in the tools that allow people to connect with each other. And a lot of it is people who can get out their creativity, who can get out their artistry, who can get out their artisanal work, can get out the deep stories, their personal vulnerabilities, and the way in which they feel and ponder some of the biggest issues. We take 10, 15 years ago, maybe that wasn't the case, but now because of those tools being here, this is what people can do. People have left their own imprint on these products. So I would just encourage young people to really think about where innovation is moving right now, to learn coding, to better understand computers, better understand the internet, and to understand how they can develop alongside these rapidly and fast changing innovations.
So, Chris Upperman, thank you very much.
Thank you. I like that. I like you're going in for that. Thank you so much.